A man steals hundreds of dollars in sports cards from a Walmart store, then steals a cop car for his getaway, and a big chase ensues. Was all of this worth it just for his chance of pulling a Victor Wembanyama card? We're going to give you all of the juicy details next. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot Doug. Man, we had a great last two nights with a virtual holiday card show. We're rested. We're here tonight to give the audience even more great sports card content. You guys ready for this show today?
Yeah, you're rested. You slept in. I've been here. So.
I needed to sleep in a little bit after last night. By the way, thank you to everybody who supported the virtual holiday card show. We really appreciate it. And this Saturday night, we're back live again. Trade Night Live from Cards HQ is taking place here on our Sports Card Investor channel starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. So join for another fun live show this Saturday. But right now we're here to talk about this crazy news story, guys. This just happened a few days ago. This took place in Chattanooga, Tennessee. A man walks into a Walmart store. He gets around $500 worth of sports card boxes. He goes up to the self-checkout. He pretends that he's checking out with the boxes, but he doesn't actually ring them through. He puts them in bags, and he walks out the door of the Walmart. Well, Walmart had an off-duty police officer doing security. He noticed the man's behavior, and he confronted the man right as he walked outside the Walmart store. The man then proceeded to run back into the Walmart store to try to escape. He knocked over a Walmart customer on the way running back in. Unfortunately, badly injured that customer. And then he fell, tumbled in the aisles. The cops grabbed him, cuffed him, tossed him in the back of their cop car, then came back inside the Walmart to help the person who he had injured. This guy, in the meantime, is able to climb from the back seat of the cop car into the front seat of the cop car out in the Walmart parking lot while in handcuffs, gets through that little partition thing, and then proceeds to start driving the car with his hands in his handcuffs and takes off out of the Walmart parking lot, rushes down the street, goes through several different red traffic lights, red lights, and then, of course, inevitably, finally hits another car at a high speed, flips the cop car several times over, then gets out of the cop car and starts running, leading to a police chase. They eventually capture the guy and arrest him. All of this, by the way, reported by Sports Collectors Daily. Good job on the reporting for them. What a crazy sports card heist story. All over $500 worth of boxes. And we've had a lot of sports card crime stories this year. We've had the $2 million in cards stolen from the Dallas Card Show, still with nobody caught in that case, by the way. We've had $2 million worth of memory lane auction cards, high-end vintage cards that were stolen from a Best Western hotel. Those were recovered. People were arrested in that case. Recently, we've had Beckett's owner get arrested for fraud for stuff that he was doing in his other companies. With all of the crime stories this year, guys, where does this one rank? And more importantly, what boxes in a Walmart would motivate you, Teapot, maybe on a release day, to do such a crazy thing yourself? I'll start with you.
Well, this was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, there you go.
I mean, it's only like an hour and a half away.
But I got off. I don't know. This to me is more of like one of those just unfortunate headlines, sensational headlines that has less to do with the cards and more to do with somebody making really bad life choices. There's a lot of money, obviously, in sports cards. There's a lot of shady stuff that happens. This doesn't really even sniff some of the other stuff you just mentioned. We've got backdoored cards, we've got faked cards, we've got duped one-of-ones that were taken and sold on eBay. Like you said, there's just been a lot of this kind of stuff happening left and right. One thing I never understand how it is that cop cars get stolen by people who get put into the back of the cop in handcuffs. That's not uncommon. Like there's like entire YouTube rabbit holes of that. Just people somehow driving off in cop cars. So that's a weird thing. I hope the person who was involved in the other car wasn't injured, or the people in the other vehicle weren't injured. But I don't know. My attitude around this stuff always has just been realism. Realistically, there's a lot of shady stuff that can happen in anything in life where there's a lot of money involved. This, to me, is probably everything to do with just money. You're stealing stuff that you know you can go and flip on eBay or sell to the local card shop stupidly, or do something along those lines. I don't like to get caught up in the drama of it. I really don't spend very much time thinking about these things, reading about it. The sports card industry is already my job, and it's my hobby as well. I'll leave all the drama and everything to all the other self-appointed watchdogs and drama seekers and everything. So I hope the other person's okay. That's the main thing. And I can't wait to read in the comments about how this is the manufacturer's fault or your fault or somebody else's fault, other than the guy who stole the cards.
Maybe if,
this is your fault.
Maybe if you didn't have to open up as much wax as you currently do in order to find a hit, then this guy would have not had to go to these lengths.
If cards were just free, this wouldn't have happened.
Maybe this guy ripped thousands of dollars worth of boxes of Prizm basketball, couldn't find himself one Victor Wembanyama, so he had to go back into the well for more when he didn't have the money to pay for it. I don't know. Doug, would a Victor Wembanyama craze drive you to do this, or would it be more like Lamine Yamal in your case that would drive you to do something this crazy?
First of all, I'm surprised we got Grand Theft Auto Hobby Edition before we got Grand Theft Auto 6, the video game. But this is $560. What are we doing? This guy must have had some like crazy outstanding warrants or something. Like, this is a wild decision over $560. Obviously, there's not a scenario in which I would do this, I hope. Maybe if I lost it all at the blackjack table, but that would never happen to me. I don't know, like what if Panini sent the wrong boxes to Walmart? What if they accidentally shipped them first off the line hobby instead of blasters? That's a little bit more compelling. Or something that used to actually happen a few years ago, like in 2019, 2020, it wasn't totally uncommon to go and see older products on the shelf get like re-released. Like maybe old warehouses were clearing out and product never got distributed, and you'd find 2017, 2018 basketball. You'd find
2017 football.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a nice one to find.
So that was my point. Yeah, maybe if I found like a treasure trove of unreleased 2017, 2018 football, 2020 football. I might steal something. I don't know.
Might steal a cop car for that. I know, seriously. We have 2017 football in our cases over here. And we have 2017 basketball too. I don't know where this is going.
I've been casing the joint for about 9 months
right.
now.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's kind of a daily occurrence for you. It shows the value, I guess, of cards, right? And the liquidity of cards too. I mean, I'm unfortunately, my guess here is that if you think about what could you go into a Walmart and pick up and turn it into quick and easy cash, there's a lot of people that will buy blaster boxes. He could probably walk them into a local card shop. People will come into Cards HQ and sell us sealed boxes. Now, of course, if we had any inkling that a sealed box was stolen, we would never buy it. But people get them in different means, and we'll buy sealed product off of people. Sometimes they get them on clearance sales and are able to flip them to us for a profit because they got a really good deal on a clearance sale and we can sell them at retail. And so, things like that can happen. And so the fact that he kind of targeted the cards, he didn't go in there and steal home goods. He didn't go in there and steal pet food. He didn't go in there and steal grocery items. He didn't go in there and steal t-shirts or sporting equipment or the million other things you could buy at Walmart. He specifically got sports cards. It shows you the liquidity of the market and of those items and how desirable they are for better or for worse. And in this case, clearly it is the for worse that has taken control here.
I'd like to think that his plan was to go home, rip all these packs, meticulously clean them all, and then submit them for grading. But, probably just sold them for $20 a pop out of this.
Yeah. I never understand.
Maybe he's a big collector, actually.
I never understand when I'm looking at blasters, the retail and stuff at the shop, when you find like boxes that are open and like the packs are opened. Yeah. But I'm like, what really happened here? Was somebody stupid enough out in the broad, out in the open, just to sit here and open packs in the aisle and then put it back? Because I think people would do it to like take it to the bathroom or go do something in the dressing room or whatever, and then why would you go put it back like where it came from?
For a while, people were returning boxes. Like there was some period of time,
like everywhere now.
You can't do that anymore. But there was some time, where people would buy blaster boxes, rip them open, put them all back in the box, and return it back to Walmart or Target. It was like they would give them a refund.
I'm not happy with this.
Anyway, not a great story. We got better stories on the horizon. We're going to talk about here in a minute. We got some big PSA news. We got some big news with Prizm football and basketball. But first, I want to give everybody the big news about Arena Club. You guys know every Friday Arena Club does their slab pack drops. They have juiced this Friday's release even more. Their Ruby basketball slab packs this Friday could contain Luka's 2018 Select Zebra PSA 10. Very, very nice card, close to a $20,000 card. But it gets even better because their Ruby football packs that are going to drop Friday could contain Patrick Mahomes Optic Gold Super Bowl Downtown. Super Bowl Downtown for Mahomes. That is a massive card. And then we've also got in baseball, Shohei Ohtani's 2018 Topps Chrome Gold Auto numbered to 50 in PSA 10. That's an even crazier card. That one's worth close to $30,000. All of these are dropping on Arena Club's app Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. It's part of their slab packs, the Ruby slab packs. You have a chance at getting any of those 3 cards. And if you use promo code SEI20, if you're a first-time Arena Club purchaser, you're going to get 20% off those slab packs. Download the Arena Club app today. Use promo code SEI20. And one more thing, they're doing that special promotion this month. Every dollar you spend on slab packs, you're going to get an entry into that Super Grail sweepstakes for an opportunity to win 2 tickets to the big game in February, including flights and hotels. As a crazy promotion that Arena Club is doing this month. All right, speaking about crazy perhaps, we got Prizm coming out. It's that time of year. We got Prizm football coming out next week. We got Prizm basketball coming out at the end of next month. These are always products that people every year, they're some of the biggest, most sought after products in the sports card industry. The design this year, it's interesting. It's drawing a lot of feedback from people. We're going to put some images on the screen here so people can see some of these different preview images. Let's start with the football products specifically. I'm going to start with you on this one, Doug. What is your reaction to the design of Prizm football that comes out next week?
Very first response when I see it is 2013 Prizm.
Yep.
Very similar in the pattern of the card and the dimples on the card. One thing that's different is the nameplate for the players. It's more reminiscent of 2016 basketball, where it's kind of off to the side and the font's really similar. I'm fine with it overall. I think, every time we talk about designs on here, I tend to be more negative because it's usually just a direct ripoff of something. We're always talking about a design that's derivative of another design, and we're lacking originality. But I really like 2013's design. I think it's a sharp-looking card. This one, I think with the 2016-ish sort of nameplate, I don't love. There's just something visually about it. I wish it was centered in different font type, but with the rest of it, I actually like quite a bit. But it's it's derivative of 2013. That's 11 years ago. It's not like they're recreating something that they've done in the past year or 2 or 3. So I think I'm okay with it. And I was thinking about this. If you go to a concert, you want them to play the hits, right? You don't want to listen to the album that just came out. So I don't know, maybe that's what Panini's doing, playing the hits. They've had the 2012 flashback stuff and a lot of products. Maybe kind of reformatting some of their older popular designs is a good move in terms of originality.
Yeah, we have seen that 2012 flashback be pretty heavily used recently. We got dual color blasts back for the football product and all color blast in general. Teapot, you good with the football design or is this a miss for you?
I like it overall. I was going to say the same thing. I looked at it and I was like, 2013 Prizm. Oh, no, it's the new one. 2013 Prizm is my favorite design. Of all the years of Prizm, 2013, specifically the basketball from 2013, is my favorite design. It is slightly different than football. This one's a little more angled. It's a little bit of a different angle, a little more cut off with the textured side. We saw like this, what looks like a basketball parallel in it, reminiscent of rookie exclusives and other parallels from the 90s and products that we saw in the 90s. I like it overall. I think it's an improvement from some of the recent years Prizm designs, which got too busy with way too many things going on them. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'll be interested to see, are they also going to make Prizm Deca again next year with 2013's design?
Right.
And then have 2024 Prizm, which looks nearly identical to Prizm Deca, which looks nearly identical to 2013. I don't know.
One step at a time.
What I really want to know, Doug, is what's the over-under on number of parallels? Like 293.5, somewhere along those lines?
Yeah, that's probably, I'd probably put the under at minus 135 on that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a huge.
I'm going to take the over. I also want to know if we're going to have any food parallels in this set. Will we have an Atlanta Hot Wings parallel, maybe, or a Houston
Lemon pepper?
The food
brisket?
parallels are the Tops
A
products.
Houston-
This
a
is the
Houston
panini. You get the animal skin parallels.
Yeah, well,
so we're gonna have some new animals in the
Finally
panini
time for the
lineup.
skunk and the armadillo. They're
Yeah,
coming.
they're coming this year.
they're
Armadillo coming this year.
I will say, let's talk about the price tag, $1,100. That's what we always talk about, Tops versus Panini. It's going to be really interesting to see once the shift happens over to Tops Chrome. Where's Tops going to release that?
I hope a lot less than that.
Well, even if it's half, it's going to have people flipping out because people are flipping out over $350 for Tops Chrome baseball.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. I will be really curious to see where Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams settle in with these prices, knowing that the season will basically be, all but over when this, product comes out. And right now they're hovering really comparably to each other, and the other stuff that's out, like their downtowns and other things, are very close. Which direction I lean on that.
Bo Nix
Bo
might
Nix
be your
is-
Rookie
he's
of the
been
Year
pretty
winner. Yeah, I think your comments are good. I actually like, so the football and the basketball both look very similar for the 2014 releases. I like the basketball a little bit more. Did you see that Tim Duncan card where they actually, the pattern, the dot pattern, they actually kind of played that into the actual surface of the basketball pattern. That actually looks like a basketball. That I thought was particularly cool. Out of all the preview images I saw, it was that Tim Duncan one where it looks like a basketball pattern. That one hits the most to me. So I would say I'm more excited about this design as it relates to basketball than I am to football.
Sure.
But overall, I think it's pretty nice. Seems like a nice, classy
I like it.
design.
I'll probably chase a few of the parallels and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'll tell you what else is nice. These are nice. You guys know that Slab bumpers, Slab Strong, big part of our history here at Sports Card Investor. I invested in Slab Strong, which is the company that makes these, protective slab bumpers that go around your slabs. Well, we also released the news that over a year ago, we licensed Slab Strong to BCW, and BCW is now the creator of it. They have renamed it Slab Bumpers, and they have just released a brand new product line where they now have these in a ton of different colors. And they have them for BGS, for PSA, and for SGC. The BGS and the PSA ones have an extra little protection bar across. The SGC ones do not because the slabs are larger. It's not needed. But these, whole bunch of different colors, better quality than ever before, better colors than ever before. The clear is clearer than ever before. BCW did an excellent job with these products. Take a look at the couple of boxes there. And I want to let the audience know these are available right now on bcwsupplies.com, the full color lineup. All of these different slab bumpers for all the grading companies. These go around your graded slabs and they protect them against scratching and against dropping. Really nice. Plus, they make them look nice. And they're available right now on bcwsupplies.com. Promo code SCI for 10% off all of your purchases on bcwsupplies.com. Guys, let's jump into our next story today. John Elway, in the sports card news, he has gotten the Bowman draft picks treatment, dream draft picks, as Topps is calling it. So Topps did this last year, you might remember, with Tom Brady, where they did this whole campaign around Tom Brady got drafted by the Montreal Expos, so they put a whole bunch of Tom Brady autograph cards and parallels in Bowman draft last year, where he was photoshopped in to wearing an Expos jersey, and people went crazy for it. It was a big deal. People still pay crazy amounts of money for these Tom Brady baseball cards. So, of course, Topps said we got a hit on our hands, so they're back doing it again this year. This year it's with John Elway, and John Elway was drafted twice. He was first drafted by the Kansas City Royals, then he was drafted by the New York Yankees over the course of a couple of years. It's the Yankees that they chose to go with for this, of course, and so he's in a Yankees, uniform on these cards. He's got non-signed ones, he's got signed ones, he's got all these parallels, an old photo of him, looks like from when he was drafted back in 1981 with the Yankees, and that is now in the new Bowman draft that just came out. So this is clearly now, we're seeing a little bit of a pattern. We could maybe expect Topps to keep doing this every year. So my question for you guys is who do you want to see them do it with next? Which baseball star turned football player perhaps does this hit on in future years? And do you like this? I'll start with you, Teapot.
So we have one employee internally who's very much not a fan of this, who's a Yankees fan, not to be named. He saw this and rolled his eyes. I didn't say it. I railed against the food parallels last week. This is one that actually I think is kind of smart. I wouldn't say I would pay like the huge secondary market price tag for what some of these cards go for, but at the same time, the fact that they have commanded a price, it was Tom Brady, but we've seen it with the other retrofractors of actual MLB, legends who just never had a Bowman first. They've gone for a really pretty penny. And so obviously there's a market for these. People have been chasing them. It's far less gimmicky than some of the other things that were just straight up gimmicks. This is a really interesting concept to me. One that I would like to see would be a Patrick Mahomes with the Detroit Tigers. He was drafted by the Tigers, like 37th round.
I didn't know he was drafted by the Tigers.
He was, and he just never played, and they weren't going to.
His dad was a relief pitcher, right? That was kind of the catalyst.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get that one then in the future year. And Topps keeps doing this.
One you may like to see is your favorite player, Kyler Murray, who was drafted by the A's.
Yes.
So I think it's an interesting thing, kind of fun. I don't know, and I love the commercials they put out. The Brady commercial, or the ad, or whatever you want to call it, promo. This one with Elway, with Steinbrenner, like Seinfeld, they're really well done. I've enjoyed that. This is one I'm a fan of.
What do you think, Doug? We keep this going, and who do you want to see?
Well, I do think we keep this going. I'm surprised that was your take. I was worried that you were going to come back with the whole sanctity of Bowman.
Yes, I'm a baseball traditionalist.
This is Bowman.
How dare you destroy Bowman baseball? That's what we heard last week, right? Isn't that what we heard last week?
That's what I was worried
first.
Okay. I'm interested to hear what you think, because this is John Elway. That was your guy at one point, right? So I'm interested to hear about that. I don't think this will be as popular as it was the first time around with Brady. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback ever, the most accomplished quarterback ever, and he's still pretty recently relevant. I mean, he was just playing a couple of years ago, won a Super Bowl in 2020-ish. Right. 21? I don't know, 2020. So he's a recent Super Bowl winner, recent player. He's still in the news, so he's still very relevant. Elway, not so much. So that's my first thought was Mahomes. Yeah. That Mahomes makes a ton of sense.
Don't underestimate his car dealerships.
I can't. I don't understand why they didn't go Mahomes first, unless he has an exclusivity with Panini or something.
He might right now because Panini still has NFL. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
Mahomes autos seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I was looking through a list of names that I thought would be cool, and I saw one that I think you would love the most, and Chris Weinke would be one.
Oh, Chris Weinke.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He was a big Florida Gator,
I'm going to put that up there next to Jameis Winston, who, by the way, also was drafted in baseball, but ended up going on to what has been just an absolutely horrible NFL career.
Oh, people love Jameis.
Perhaps he should have stuck with baseball.
He's beloved, though.
Yeah, beloved by who? I don't know.
Everyone who's listened to him talk loves
the
Jameis.
18 people who show up to a Florida State game per year. Maybe those 18 people like him. I don't know. So my reaction to this, to answer your question, Doug, last year when they did this with Tom Brady, my reaction was, I love the marketing. Super funny. I love the Brady commercial. I love the marketing. I love the attention it's bringing. Do I care for the card? No. The card didn't do it for me. I'd rather have a Tom Brady football card. But I love the marketing and I love the hype, and it clearly did it for some people. My reaction to the John Elway thing, exact same thing. I love John Elway. I was a big Broncos fan growing up, but I would much rather have a long list of John Elway football cards. John Elway Yankees card doesn't really do it for me. Yeah. However, I appreciated the commercial they did. They got Larry David involved. A Seinfeld recreation for the commercial. I loved that. That was great. That was fun. Fun marketing. I like that they're doing this every year. The cards may not be for me, but they are for some people. To me, the next obvious one to do, without a doubt, is Dan Marino. It's going to be Dan Marino. It's got to be Dan Marino next year. It just follows the progression. I mean, Brady, Elway, it's got to be Marino. And Marino was drafted. I didn't know that. I actually looked that up before the show, who else was drafted who, ended up going in the NFL, but drafted for baseball. Dan Marino was on the list. I had no idea that Marino was a baseball player. But there you go. Marino was a baseball player. So I think Marino's next. That's my prediction. We'll see. Let's watch this video in a year and see if I'm right that Marino's next, or hey, if you guys are right and Mahomes is next, that would really be something. Yeah. Okay, one last topic I want to get into today. PSA made some big news. Nat Turner came out last week on X and said, hey, cool new feature coming to eBay. Within the eBay app, when you're looking at the listing of a PSA card, you will soon be able to see the PSA pop report for that card. see what that card is graded at, and I think you can see it in different PSA grades. I think it will pop up a little thing. You can see the pop report across all PSA grades. This is now, I guess, starting to roll out. Not everybody has the feature in their eBay app yet, I don't think, but people will have it in their eBay app soon. So it is full-on rollout mode right now. It's coming soon. Is this a big deal, a little deal, or no deal at all? What do you think, Teapot?
I like it. I think anything to reduce friction is useful. This speeds up your access to data, so why not? That's a nice thing. I just think PSA continues to make smart moves. You know, Neo did the interview with Nat recently, and they went through a whole bunch of stuff. And you know, Nat talked about they're focusing heavily on grading. That's what they're focused on. With 97% of their time and energy and resources are going just into making the grading process better. But they're also doing these other little things, these other little technology solutions to help. We know they had the partnership with eBay, so I think that's nice. One thing that would be really nice to see is if eBay would then utilize this information to optimize or standardize listing titles for cards when they go out to eBay, so that there's no more of this funny business of PSA 10 question mark, or PSA 9 looks like PSA 10, or all that stuff. Just if you're going to lock the cert number in and have it create the listing for you and sort of do some of that stuff, that'd be very useful.
Doug, what do you think?
That's a small thing, but it is a good thing. I really appreciate the fact that regardless of what you think about grading companies, you know, a lot of people will be in our comments talking about how grading is a scam. PSA is always making positive changes. They continue to push forward, they continue to innovate, and I don't see a lot of other companies following suit, really. So I can say that I firmly appreciate every effort they make to try to, you know, make things better. I'm not a person that uses pop reports a ton when making a buying decision, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that do. You can look at that really quickly, and you can learn a lot of things at a glance. You can see if a card has been overprinted, perhaps, or you can see if a card has a really low gem rate. Alternatively, if it has a really high gem rate, and maybe that population is expected to keep growing because it's so easy to gem. You can see if it's a very low population, maybe you have a very small sample size of data available for comps. So it's, you're going to have a hard time pricing that card, things of that nature. There's a lot of information you can learn just by looking at that quick pop report. Obviously, this is information that would still be available by going to PSA site, going to Market Movers, whatever, and you can still get that. But having it right there and being able to make that snap decision is fine. Yeah, it's a good thing.
I'm going to be critical of this.
Oh.
I'm going to be critical of
I
this.
didn't see that coming.
I'm going to be critical of this. I'm going to be critical of this for one reason. On the list of the 100 things that eBay should do, needs to do, must do to improve their app, to improve the searchability, the buying process, the selling process, this doesn't even register on the top 100. This registers down at number 1,744. I can think of 1,743 more impactful, important things that eBay should do, with the number one being what you said, Teapot: standardize the naming convention of cards, get rid of all of the people that put silver in a card title when it's a base, or put PSA 10 question mark when it's not when it's a raw card. All of that, one of one, eBay one of one when it's not a one of one. Get rid of all of that. Standardize everything. Get rid of shill bidding. Get rid of unpaid items. Make your pricing data more open and accessible. Get that stuff out of your pricing data. Be forthright with the buy it now offers, which sometimes are not even indicated on eBay's own website, even though a buy it now took place when you're looking at sold items. There are so many things that eBay could improve. They're the dominant marketplace in this space. I respect their position. I want them to continue to get better and evolve. And as we know from a company that does development work, everything you do takes development resources. Yeah. Now, this may have been a smaller thing, but I would argue that whatever time this took, which took some time, might not have been a lot of time, but it took time. They got to put it through QA testing, build it, hook to PSA's API. There was a lot of development time put into this. Every minute could have been dedicated towards something that actually would have been more impactful to the eBay experience for a wider swath of users.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a great feature. Yeah. Go PSA for getting it in there. It's a nice to have, but it's certainly not a must-have. And eBay, there's a lot of must-haves on eBay's list that are not done right now.
You know what my biggest gripe is?
What's that?
Since we're just talking about it? people shouldn't be able to allowed to tag athletes within the listing that aren't the athlete they're selling. That's my biggest gripe, period.
There you go.
People will tag Victor Wembanyama on a bowl card. So if you have a save search popped up, or even if you search it, you're going to get a card that's totally
I'll tell you
irrelevant.
how you fix it. The way you fix that, like easily, and what you just described, this would not be, you already have to type your listing title. So when you type your listing title, you're typing out player name, grade, set, variation, all these card number. Sometimes the card number's there, sometimes it's not. Instead of even letting, I get that this is a marketplace for more than just cards, but for cards, there is ways to standardize. Instead of having people do that, they already make you fill out a lot of those attributes of condition and all this stuff. Just have it be like an intake form.
Yeah, it should be.
Where you just put in Victor Wembanyama, and it always puts Victor Wembanyama's name first as the first part of the syntax of the listing title, and you can't edit the title. All you can edit are the things, the attributes of the card, and it standardizes it, and it makes you put the card number, and it makes you put these other things, and then it just builds the title, and that would actually create a more seamless experience, I believe, for sure for buyers, for sure for people, using data tools, and then also for sellers after probably a little bit of grumbling. It's just like, oh great, look at how clean and that my listing titles and everything are. I think they could do that, and that actually wouldn't be a huge, they've already got all the fields. Just use it to standardize the listing titles. Everybody's life gets better. We say this in love. I say it in love.
I like
really
eBay.
Do. I buy and sell on eBay,
I like eBay
every single day.
PSA's great.
I love it.
It's great.
It's great.
But what you just described is way better.
It would help them. It would help.
It would help way
everybody.
more. That's where the time should have
help
gone,
everybody.
not on adding pop reports. That's my 2 cents. Sure. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. What do you think about our different topics on today's shows? And don't forget Arena Club with that slab pack drop, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Promo code SCI20 for 20% off your first purchase at Arena Club. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Saturday, Trade Night Live, this Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on this YouTube channel. Take care.